And I think we're live. Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started.
Yeah, so last week we obviously had a miss there. We had too much stuff going
We had a
on,
life.
and it ended up, so it happens on occasion. I was busting Faz's chops on that because I really look forward to this every Friday. I mean, this is my thing. We've been doing this for what, a year now? Every Friday night, I absolutely look forward to it, and some things came up for both of us actually, and we kept bouncing it back and forth between the two of us, and finally we're like, fuck it, we'll just try it tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, more things came up, and we're like, all right,
Life happens.
wait a week, yeah.
So the obvious thing this week, obviously, is shit still hitting the fan. Somebody's got a whole bucket of shit pouring on the crypto fan. But I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about Townstar, and just today I saw Smithers had a lot of stuff to sell on the CryptoFaz Academy stuff. And that kind of reminded me how a lot of people are talking about Townstar recently. This is my way to get you going, Titan.
It works most of the time. So it's OMS is he's a unique character, and I love him because he's a realist like me. He just kind of says it how it is. And I caught him when he was a guest on another podcast, and I listened to that, and you could tell kind of as the as the cast went on, he was getting a little bit more salty and a little bit more salty. And I compare it to myself. So Faz and I talk about this all the time, and he busts my chops about being butthurt and this and that and the other. It's and I don't want to speak for Old Man Smithers. Maybe he's listening, or maybe he'll comment on this later. But it isn't anger, it isn't frustration, it isn't animosity. What it is it's disappointment. They have such a talented group. They have a leader in Eric who has proven that he's very good at gaming and marketing and getting games that people want to play. And here we are. And I don't have to hash through it all. We know where we are. And it's just ridiculously disappointing. And every time they start getting some momentum, bam, here comes another just dump of disappointment.
Oh, you're going to give me a chance to respond. Okay. I thought you were going to...
Yeah, I promised you I wouldn't ramble on like forever.
I thought you had a whole shit sandwich prepared, but okay.
No.
So, first of all, Titan and I go back for about 30 years, so I like to use butthurt when I respond to anything he says, just because he gave me so much shit in the past. He's actually a little bit older than me. I know it might not seem like it, but he gave me a lot of shit in the past, and I never let him forget that. He's a big brother in a way, and so now I just give him a lot of shit. Anyway, so here's the problem with games and crypto and NFTs and play to earn. I've been a software developer for about the last 20 years, and so I'm very familiar with the process of producing, not games, producing, just code that gets deployed out. I've done web development, I've done cloud development, I've done all the pieces that they're doing with Townstar and with other play to earn games. I see how they put them together, and it's very familiar to me. And I'm watching a lot of people who aren't familiar with this process learning about it for the first time. And it certainly reminds me of a lot of when I first started coding, seeing how slowly things took to get done. It takes years for things to get done. When you're coding, there's a number of different development environments you use. You have like a dev environment, a QA environment, a UAT, which is user acceptance testing environment, and then there's the production environment. And when I started, basically you just go from dev to QA to UAT and then finally production. And production is when anybody would see it. It'd be when something would be deployed for the world to see. Before it's in production, it goes to UAT, where you get a small subset of loyal users or maybe people who pay more for the privilege to see the new thing that's coming out, to see or use the new thing. And that's really important to get their 2 cents because you frequently change your direction a lot. You'll have something in QA, you'll be like, okay, it's ready, you put it in UAT, and then users will tear it a new asshole, and then you'll be like, oh shit, we got to retool something. So you go back, change some things, go back through to QA, back to UAT, and back and forth. Well, over the years, it seems that UAT is becoming production. And I'm going to blame things like Gmail, which was in beta for 7 years, and like all these other things that we're used to playing the beta versions of all the time. And now it's just becoming a thing that as soon as you can possibly get something glued together, that you're going to put it out there. Well, that makes people think that the game really sucks, or that the application really sucks. And here everybody's discovering this while they're pumping a lot of money into the ecosystem. And so they have a good reason to, I think, demand quality. And the people who are putting these projects out are wanting to get things out as quickly as possible because otherwise you wouldn't spend the money. So when I see something like this going on, it's like, okay, yeah, this is in beta, so it's not out. So it's going to take a while to fix things and make it right. And people like Titan are like, what the fuck is this, man? They're selling me something for like $5,000. Why the fuck does it not work right? And so I tell him he's butthurt, and I tell everybody else that they're butthurt. And then, but they have a point. And the point really is that they're putting shit out that's not done yet. But it looks like it's not going to work, that it's unsustainable. And that was a long-winded way of saying that's where P2E is right now, play to earn. And I think a lot of people had the wrong idea about play to earn, because all the complaints they have is about game balance and economy balance. How's this stuff going to work? And the only way to get this kind of balance is to get users actually playing the game to see what works and what doesn't. So I've always been in it for the long term, and so I have less of a problem with it. And I've also haven't spent any more money than I could part with. But a lot of people have spent money that they don't want to part with, or they would rather have cashed it out, and they're kind of going about things in a different way. So I feel for those people, but at the same time, I'm really not expecting a lot of P2E to really take off for a long time. You could say something now, Titan.
You kind of ended that on like a weird thing. I thought you were just taking a breath. Yeah, so I agree and I disagree. So I didn't. Faz and I always talk pre-show, and I didn't mention this to you during our conversation about it, but I had mentioned to Faz. I said, I would expect that Townstar, after being live now for, and again, regardless of what phase, like Faz mentioned, what area it's in at this point, it's been live where people can play it for over a year. And I went back to our buddy Lycan Warlord. I went back to his earlier streams that he had, and I found one from about a year ago. And I think it was his first one where he was doing Townstar. And other than the graphics being better now, there's no damn difference between the playable version today and what I saw in his stream from damn near a year ago. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So that's part one of it. So it's that they've had a year to improve this, and I haven't seen. Now, again, I'm not talking back end. I don't know what goes on in the back end. I'm talking user experience here. Not much has changed. Part 2 is the NFT thing, and I will go sideways for 1 second and give some love and kudos to I'm going to give some love and kudos to Ventit, one of the red names over at Gala Games. I don't know if it's a he or a she, so since the name is Ventit, we'll call it it. It smacked me on my pee-pee a little bit because I got a little too ROIE in the node owner discussion room when talking about this. So love you guys for what you do over there. I probably did push the envelope a little too far. I was trying to be so damn careful and I still got smacked. So it is the NFT thing, right? So in my opinion, you can charge me whatever you want for your NFT. If you want that NFT to be $2,000 in the Gala store or whatever, fine. The problem that I have is when I take that NFT that I spent $2,000 on, and I see all the marketing around play to earn and earn money, own your assets. We want to, yeah. So I throw it into Townstar and I make, what is it, like $1.38 a day on that. I mean, come on, you can't market, earn, and money and tokens and you're marketing the ROI without saying it, but then you're not providing it. So that's part 2. And then part 3 is we look at the other games that they have available. And they're making huge progress with a lot of this. We got 2 play tests going on right now. And let me tell you, Fortified, I've been looking forward to this ever since it first started. And it's a completely different game than what they originally marketed. But I did the play test and I did enjoy it. The instructions were horrible, so whoever's in charge of that one needs to write better instructions. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and the instructions didn't really help. But I enjoyed that. Faz and I played some spider tanks, and I'm not good at shooters, I'll tell you that right off the bat. My kids laugh at me because they stalk me in Call of Duty and just have fun shooting me and killing me every 9 seconds. But you have these, and then they dangle that, and then they pull them back and say, yeah, we're not releasing that till Gala Chain's ready. Okay, well, we have Gala Chain, which is Dimension 4, and Eric got on over the holidays and said, I'm confident we'll have that ready by January, February at the latest. And now the latest is, yeah, we might have it done by the end of the year, but we're really not sure. So now I've got to wait, a year to play Spider Tanks and Fortified? It's disappointment, man. It's just, there's those aspects. And that's why I get on here and I beat the snot out of Gala every week, because there's got to be better experiences. There's got to be better earnings. If not, just go to Web 2. Stay on Web 2, be a traditional gaming company. Don't market yourself as the leader or the innovator or epic things are going to happen when they're not. It's just not.
It's worth noting that for Web 2 games, really, they do a lot of the same things. The difference is you don't hear about them until they're done or close to done. And in one sense, you could say that's Gala's biggest mistake, is the fact that they're telling you about things. The moment they make a deal, they tell you about it. They get leaks every 5 minutes. And the leaks are a problem, I'm sorry to say. The fact that they're leaking so much is a problem. They need to shut the hell up and just do some work. And if they're going to leak something that's going to come out soon. But, I mean, there's this thing where they have to really keep the hype going. It's like the moment you hear some hype, every day, another leak. Well, when's that going to be out? 6 months? And then 6 months go by, and then, not for several months after that. I mean, it's That's why you don't leak stuff like that, is because people get these expectations, and they're doing it because they want to keep you interested. But everybody's interested, from what Titan says, because of money, because they can make money off of it, and they don't want to wait around. Well, okay, fine. If you're going to do it, get interested to make money, realize that venture capitalists have to wait a whole lot longer than you're waiting. I mean, come on. That's how people are seeing this, is like everybody's a venture capitalist here. I own this. They need to tell me how they're doing things with my money. Okay. Be a venture capitalist. That's what we are now. Okay, that's what they have to deal with. You got to give them the money and forget about it for several years. But I don't think it'll be that long.
Well, you got to wait a minute there, because I've been talking about this for months, if not the entire time we've been doing Faz Radio, right? There's a competition for people's money. And the longer that Gala fucks around, the faster people are going to chase whatever gaming company has a game out where they can earn money. Remember, Gala's not, and people are in this like tunnel vision. Gala's not the only NFT gaming company out there. They're not the only one with nodes out there. There's other gaming companies. And the competition for those gaming dollars, every day that ticks by, is a day of further development for other companies. And if Gala keeps dropping the ball on all this stuff, people are going to start migrating towards the other projects that are early on, like Gala used to be, and they're going to spend that money on those nodes, and they're going to spend the money in those ecosystems where they can get in early and make that money. They're not going to spend it at Gala. And that's why there's urgency, and I'm not sure Gala understands that. That was the gist of my post in the node owner discussion room that got me in trouble. And I'm not sure they're seeing that, because they've had a huge head start. They were out of the gates a year before anybody else was even ready to deploy anything. And we saw at the beginning, there was 1 or 2 games out, and they were really shitty. They were way worse than Townstar. Now, the environment a year later, you can play 10, 12, 14 games right now in the play-to-earn world, and you can earn more than you're earning at Gala, from what I'm seeing. I don't know. I'm not there, okay? But from what I'm reading.
I'd like to speak up here and say that when I got into Gala, September of 2020, all I heard was Axie this, Axie that, and Gala was busting their butts to get, their play-to-earn stuff going, because Axie was kicking everybody's ass. And I think they finally got things going, October or December? I forget. But they still took a number of months. And so I won't say that they were the first out of the gate. They were definitely early. Also, they're working on more than one game. The whole point of Gala is to do multiple things. They want to acquire game companies or partner with game companies to do things. I can see their plan. Their plan is, we're going to, and you can start seeing how they're doing it now. They want to have a set of games in all, in some level of completeness. Some are in QA, some are in dev, some are in UAT, and some are done. Right now, if you look on the Gala website, I believe Spider Tanks, you can play that legend game. What's the card game? The card game is playable right now. Then of course the Fortified game. But last week, last week or the week before, Fortified couldn't be played, but Superior could. And they're having play tests. I see them rotating the games, and that's a good thing, because that's how they can keep people occupied while they're waiting for their favorite game. They can see that other things are going on. When you're buying Gala NFTs, you're not just, you're buying into an ecosystem. That said, if you're buying it for one game, I mean, maybe just having Gala itself is a better idea if you're worried about your one game failing.
Well, okay, so what is Gala's mantra? Do you remember what is their tagline?
I don't remember. I guess if it's not memorable, they're not doing a good job.
Creating games that people actually want to play. Who the fuck wants to play Townstar right now? We have people that are shedding Townstar things like crazy. It was in November. The land rush was so bad on 5 servers, I couldn't get anything but at the middle of Alaska, nowhere near water. Even during May Mayhem, I was able to get any place I basically wanted to go.
Be aware
So
that
even
the down market, I mean, if you're ignoring the down market, then you're not being realistic. Any speculative asset is hurting right now. The stock market is hurting right now. And so you think a game that's not even out yet is going to do really well. I'd really like to know what town would be at if we didn't have this immense downturn going on right now.
well, that's part of the problem, okay? And we did our poll here. People are here to earn money. They're not here to play games. There's a very select, small handful of people who are here for the games. You are one of those. Yes, you want to make some money, of course. Who doesn't?
I want to do both.
But yeah, so the majority, the vast majority of the people on the Gala platform are here to make money. And if they can't make money here, they're not going to stay here. They're going to go to another platform to try and make money there. And if they don't make money there, they're going to move on to another platform. Why would somebody come here to spend thousands of dollars on NFTs to just play games when they can get a better quality game, a 10-time better quality game for 100th of the price if they're gamers?
Okay.
That's part of the reason.
You got,
now wait,
you got a
I'm
couple,
going to feed you.
You got a couple things conflated here, but if you could wrap that up.
I wanted, okay, so we'll throw your comments because I wanted to go into next that forum that somebody had posted in CFA about the true gamers, that bulletin board.
Okay, so a couple things. People play games because they're fun. People play games because they like the type of game. And in crypto, people are playing games because they can make money. I can guarantee that people aren't going to jump from one type of game to another just because. People tend to fall in love with their games. If they make money, even better. Those are probably the people that you want. If you get a bunch of just investors playing the game to see if they can get as much money as possible out of it, you actually have a game balance problem. I really don't think that people are going to jump from Townstar to Star Atlas, for example. Because Star Atlas isn't done, and it looks like it's not done. It plays like it's not done. It's fucking boring. All you're doing is just clicking and staking. And then I think there's a script now out there where things can be done automatically, but it's really fucking boring. So they're not going to go to Star Atlas. Maybe they'll go to Splinterlands, but that's if they want to go through the whole mechanic of collecting cards and playing games and stuff like that. And maybe it who knows how much money it makes because I don't play Splinterlands. But Splinterlands is much more well developed and it's really cool. Then there's Gods Unchained. There's a number of others that are out there that you might not want to play because Townstar, for example, is good because you can play it for a while, you could set it going and forget about it for a while and then come back later and continue. Fortified seems to be the same way. I have a hard time believing that you can play that Legends game, that Legends card game on Gala and do the same thing. Somebody's not going to leave Townstar to go play a card game because it's a totally different mechanic. It's a totally different NFT kind of experience. One is you might have to spend a lot more money buying things and speculating. And Townstar, you buy a couple of NFTs. So it's really going to depend on how easy it is to make money as far as making money. And yes, fun definitely matters. I think, fine. If Townstar is not fun, then they're going to know that they need to make it more fun. If they don't make it more fun, well then fuck them. Go somewhere else. But I get a strong feeling that they're working on the fun part. That's what they've hired people for. It just takes a while. So I think people are having a lot of short-term issues with Gala's current offerings, and it's a long-term problem. You make a lot of points with short-term. The economy doesn't seem to be working out very well. Okay, that's a balance point. Give it 6 months. The game doesn't seem to be as fun. Okay, maybe they should bring Jimmy back, bring the market stuff back, make more fun stuff in there.
So here's something that I think you're overlooking. What's going to happen, and this is also a prediction, so you've heard it here first, boys and girls. People are going to jump game to game as they first come out because that's when the biggest earnings are made. The token price, there's not a lot in circulation. It's going to be really high.
Gamers or investors?
Wait.
Okay, sorry.
They're gonna jump into it until the next game comes out and they can earn more money into it, and then they're gonna jump into that game and they're gonna move around. Here's the problem with wait 6 months or wait a year. Okay? They're not going to be able, a year from now, let's say Townstar is way better. Let's say they jack up the UI, they add all this fun element. People are not going to spend time playing that jacked up fun game for shit money when they can jump into the next brand new earning NFT paying where they can make more money game. There's only, and I've said this before on Faz Radio, there is only so much time as well as only so much money. You're going to play the game that is a balance of the most fun that earns you the most. People aren't going to play Townstar to try and earn money. They're not going to play Townstar because it's fun.
It sounds like we're saying the same thing, actually.
No, they're going to move. They're going to adapt, and they're going to go where they can earn the most but have the most fun. We're all only playing Townstar here right now, if we're going to be honest. We're all only playing Townstar here now because it's the only game we can earn in. It's crappy earnings, but it's the only game we can earn in. When Spider Tank starts earning, I think you're going to see a ghost town over at Townstar.
But you just contradicted your own point, which I agreed with, which is people are going to play the game that's the most fun for the time that they have. I can tell you that what's nice about Townstar is I can set up a town. I could take an hour, set up a town, get it going, get some balance going, and then maintain it over a period of time.
But you're not going to be able to do that.
Well,
and it's been said that you can't do that. You're going to have to play it.
That's nice. Hold on. So Spider Tanks is not the same way. Spider Tanks, you are actively playing the entire time. Townstar is a different speed. Now, if they're saying that they're going to make it to where you have to actively do something every 5 minutes, that's a mechanic that would make me choose a different game. But then again, I have the option then to sell my NFTs to other people. Fine. This is where I agree with you. People will play the game that makes them the most money for the time that they have. Gala Games is producing a lot of different games, and they're hitting a lot of different areas. They're hitting the 4X area. They're hitting FPS area. They're arcade area, card game area. You name it. They're hitting all these different areas because they're looking for something that's going to work for everybody. Each person's going to find their thing. I'm not going to play Superior every day. I love the game, by the way, but I'm not going to play that every 5 minutes. I don't have the time, and I don't, I have kids and so on. So I'm looking for the 4X games like Echoes of Empire, Townstar, probably that Fortified. That's more my speed. You can still play these games and have to be active on them and not have to be active this minute. So there's a balance there. So I think we're actually, before we disagree too much, I think we're actually agreeing here. Just know that it's going to take time for those games to come out and for their suite of games to get finished to some degree. So that's why I see things in a very optimistic way. You're like, well, they're all going to leave and they're not going to come back because they're going to find somebody else that's going to do something better for them. Okay, that's what competition's for. But then there's going to be a round 2. Gala's going to come out with a feature that they don't have over there. This happens with competition all the time. The other side stops, they go away, they retool, they come back. And if you're going to get into Gala at all, you're going to do it because you know that they're going to come back, not because they're going to satisfy you this minute. And again, getting back to investments, if you see Gala, the coin, as an investment, then realize that it takes a while. If you're going to be a VC, that means you want to be a VC, a venture capitalist. Venture capitalists wait years. They'll wait 10 years for something. They want to be updated, certainly, but they wait a long time. Welcome to the real world.
Yeah, that's what you're going to see, all right. And that is part of the problem. They have to have a DAU that is through the roof. And Coods has been really hammering this point in CFA and over at Gala server too. They have to have a huge player base when they get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games moving in a good direction, right? Because internally, those games are going to compete against each other for the money that the people on the platform have. And the amount of daily active users that's playing has to be so high in order for those things to happen. It's going to be difficult for them to achieve it, I think, the way that they're starting out now, right?
That's a weird argument, because that's like saying that Steam is competing with itself. Or Microsoft, they have a suite of games. Microsoft has a bunch of games. They have more than one. And do those games compete with each other? Yes and no.
No, you're not seeing it correctly. Well, all right, let me rephrase that, because I don't want to say that you're wrong. But I do want to say that I think you're looking at it from a different perspective other than from the reality. You're looking at it from the Gala Games developer coding, here's what we're trying to do thing. I'm looking at it more from the player aspect, okay? So when you have these options that you're going to take your 2 hours that you have after busting your ass at your day job all day and go play a game that's hopefully going to give you some kind of ROI that's going to be fun and entertaining. You have these choices that you have to make. And whether it's Gala or 5 other companies, that's all you get. And there's only so much money to go around. And that's inherently going to be the issue.
Maybe you're seeing a limitation that I'm not, because I'm seeing this area as being the gaming P2E area as being like Amazon in 1994. I'm seeing this at the very beginning, and I'm great. Gala had a tremendous bump originally because people didn't know who they were, and apparently they flew under the radar for a while, and then the right people heard, and then the price went up through the roof. Everybody made a lot of money, and now they're pissed off they're not making this much money. And then guess what? Well, what probably really happened is Gala maybe would have stayed up or continued going up if it wasn't for the huge, immense crash that we had. So there's been this terrible market crash, which will definitely cause a lot of paper hands to fold and a lot of companies that weren't well situated to fold. Okay, here's the question for anybody investing in Gala right now. Do you think Gala can make it through a downturn? Do you think this other company with a game you like can make it through the downturn? I'm personally betting on Gala. I think that they will make it through the downturn. I think that when they started out, that they designed their business to work through a downturn. Okay, will Decentraland do it? Decentraland is just one game. I mean, do they have a suite of games? I mean, if Townstar fails, Gala Games has Spider Tanks. They have Fortify. They have all these other games. They can try over and over again. They can highlight other games. So to me, it's almost apples and oranges looking at Gala versus one other game or any other games. The space is going to get bigger.
But Gala is not Steam. Gala is not Microsoft.
Actually,
okay,
they're doing something really interesting that Steam is not doing, which I rather like, which is this whole movie and music business. So they're talking about having a Vox movie. And they're talking about, really building on the IP of all these games. And I see them starting to have all their characters together in the same videos from the various different games. They're looking to make something big. So it's not just going to be a game. That to me says Townstar can't just wink out of existence. They're probably going to want Townstar cartoon characters or something. And so they're going to have to make Townstar work better, which means they're going to have a lot of money that they're going to make from the films and from music to be able to put back into Townstar and maybe retool things. So I see a lot of areas where they're covering their own ass. It's not just Townstar that's supporting itself. It's the movies and the music are backing it all up. Just a little trivia. Microsoft, when they introduced the Xbox, they were taking a loss on that for like 10 years. They introduced the Xbox in a world that was dominated by PlayStation and Nintendo. And I think they might even still be taking a loss. But they went in and they made it their loss leader, and they were able to push their way in. Okay, so maybe the games aren't going to do as well. Maybe they're up against a formidable Web 2, powerhouse, but they have other things going on, the movies and the music and so on, and that means something.
It does. Ford is talking about them not caring about games, which is why they moved into movies and music. I don't think that's the case. I still think they did that way too early. But they're obviously, and you've mentioned this, they're hedging, right? In case one doesn't do so well, they've got something else to prop them up. But it goes back to again, the people who come to the Gala ecosystem are doing it to make money. They're not coming here to donate out of the goodness of their heart, okay? And they buy into the Gala ecosystem, which has the Gala token, which right now has no other utility other than paying for overpriced NFTs that aren't earning them anything. So you have this business model where whether it's games or film or movies or gaming, but they're very clear. Gala is very clear. The token is not the company. The token is not the stock of the company. So how is that going to help the Gala token? It's not. It's not going to help it at all. Is it? You've got all these different currencies. They got Town Coin. They got Dust for Echoes of Empire. They have Materium for Mirandus. They've got all these different tokens. I'm going to ask you a question that'll probably start a great argument here. Why does Gala have to have a Gala token or a Town token or a Materium token? Why can't they just use Stellar as the token for the platform?
Well, you're going to want. Actually, why the question should be why do they want the Geary chain?
No. They can run play to earn, and just instead of Gala token, they can use Stellar for everything. Why don't they do that?
Okay, so let's back up to when they created the Gala token. They created an Ethereum token. Ethereum was and is still one of the biggest most popular blockchains that can have a token on it. Is very easy to use. Everything with MetaMask is set up to use it and so on. So it was at the time lower friction than, say, a Stellar token. Now, it might be that Stellar has been getting up to speed during that time, but most of the infrastructure, crypto infrastructure I see, ETH is God. So that explains why they wanted to use it originally as a payment token. Then as they started making more money and started having bigger dreams, they're like, wow, Ether's getting expensive, and wow, it's really slow, and boy, we need to, in order to do our dreams with Miranda's, we can't be having this slow-ass token transferring all this information, so we're going to have to do something better. So they actually went on a look. They were asking people, hey, can you tell me a better token to use? They're asking everybody, and they're talking about XRP, and they're talking about other chains. I had suggested Holochain to them at the time. This is back in 2020. They had very specific needs. They wanted to store data on a blockchain. They wanted everything. They wanted really, really quick transactions and so on. And after a while, it became obvious that no blockchain really had all the features that they wanted. So like everybody else who creates their own programs, and this has been a big problem in the development world, I call it not invented here syndrome, they decided that they would make their own blockchain. You could say that that's hubris. You could say that they were overly optimistic. Who knows? But Gala itself, as an ERC20 token, works really effectively as a payment token only, and only, in my opinion, because Ethereum is so popular. Stellar, yeah, Stellar and XRP would go so much faster as a payment token, but by the time I think they would even think about going to that, they'd already gotten bigger plans. So now if they can have a custom Stellar token, sure, but that's where you get into I don't know what it takes to make a custom Stellar token that would do all the things that
Why did they need that? It's about taking payments for NFTs and paying out rewards.
It was.
That's right. So why not use Stellar, Bitcoin, ETH itself?
It was.
Why do they have
Past
to use their own token?
Past tense was because they had moved beyond the needs of a payment token. They wanted to do more than just have payments or just use it for payments. That's really
like what? What can you do with a Gala token that you can't do with Stellar?
What can you do with Geary?
or XRP? What? Yeah. All right. Let's use XRP.
I think you're having trouble asking your question
favorites.
here.
No.
What's the question?
What can the Gala token do that the XRP token can't do?
The ERC20 Gala token is just a payment token. It can't do anything more than that. Right.
So why not just use XRP?
That's going to be a big pain in the butt for them to switch.
Right. See, do you see what I'm saying?
Here's what you can do. Let's take however many thousands of people that they have right now. Okay, everybody's going to not use MetaMask anymore, or sorry, not use our. Actually, no, they're not even having you use MetaMask. They have their own internal website. It's going to take a while to retool all their stuff to use Stellar APIs versus the ERC20 APIs. It might be that the ERC20 APIs are more, more available. They know how to do the things. Maybe it's more stable. This is where I'm going to draw the line and say I don't know why they haven't moved, but I can tell you there's going to be a lot of retooling if they did, and then you have to retool the people. It's like, okay, what NFT marketplaces sell Stellar NFTs? Well, 2 years ago, I wasn't aware of any, and I'm not sure if I'm aware of any now. I'm not aware of any right now. So I guarantee if Stellar was on OpenSea, they would have switched. But it's not. The question you should be asking is, why is Stellar not on OpenSea? Why is XRP tokens not on OpenSea? Well, the answer probably is they weren't ready yet. And so Gala probably didn't go with them 2-3 years ago when they integrated all this stuff, because those blockchains were far less developed than the Ethereum blockchain. I mean, it's just reality.
it makes me wonder. I mean, I love their ability to pivot, right? So they can make the Gala token do anything they want it to do. They can use it as a bridge token, they can use it as a store of value, but only within the Gala ecosystem. Whereas something like XRP, it's highly liquid, right? They can take it out and do whatever they want with it. And as you have mentioned, the goal of Gala is to get those tokens back with purchases of NFTs, with
All the
gems,
transfers
with
would be
all
so
that
much
stuff.
smoother
Right.
with XRP. I agree. I totally
So
agree.
so they should have started with that, right? And it's not about changing, it's not about going to a different one, but issuing their own token, as Gloria points out just a moment ago. It doesn't cost them anything to issue their own token. Once they pay for the contract to issue Gala tokens, it's just creating tokens out of thin air. It doesn't cost them anything. They
There's
don't
practicality,
have
and
to
then
buy anything.
so getting back to what you were saying, because you brought up XRP, and I like XRP. XRP at the time that they started this did not have a token standard. They just had XRP as payment. Well, the whole point of Townstar and Mirandus and all their other plans are to have NFTs. Now, I believe XRP just like within the last month or so, a token an NFT standard. Just got it. There must be a standard for you to do that. So if when you program stuff, you program to the most developed standards that are out there. You'll get the widest acceptance. If you use something crazy like some weird ass like proposed XRP token standard that could have been around 2 years ago, what other programs would be supporting it? How would you buy and sell NFTs?
You don't need to. You can create your NFTs on ETH chain. That's fine. You can make them ERC 1155s. It's the payment to Gala to get one, and Gala can pay out XRP tokens as the reward.
Just realize now that you're working with two blockchains. That means you need to have more talent, many more people there.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah.
All you got to do is pay the tokens out and collect the tokens, the XRP tokens, and you are doing the same thing with functionality that you're doing right now on ERC 1155s by issuing the NFTs. They're doing points now for NFTs, so they're not even tying that to a town token. It's just points. They could have come up with a point system. You get 200 points for this NFT, and those points translate into 200 XRP being paid to your wallet.
Okay, these things are easier said than done. I had a boss a number of years ago. I worked in legal services, and the three words that he said the most, which I hated the most because I was a dev manager there, was, how hard is it? He'd always ask, if he wanted something done, he'd say, how hard would it be? And then he'd just draw a picture in the sky. How hard would it be to just get this and this together? And invariably, you run into practical considerations. It's basically, I mean, I could ask the same question. How hard would it be to turn your hatchback into a truck? Wouldn't be hard at all. All you need to do is take that door off, right? Bullshit. There's a whole bunch of things that trucks have that hatchbacks don't have. And once you start trying to convert it to a truck, you start realizing it. And so I don't have a lot of details to say why they're not going to Stellar or XRP. All I'm saying is they would have to convert something to something else. And there's a lot of practical details that would get in the way. What you're talking about hits my my radar, my scope creep radar, in that you're suggesting using two separate blockchains, one to pay with and one to have tokens with. And in concept, that makes a lot of sense. But when you're managing two different blockchains, you've got two of everything that you need to have, and they all need to work. You don't
need to manage blockchains.
You've just increased your complexity. It's not about managing blockchains. It's about managing what you do with the blockchains. You've increased your complexity.
Nothing has to run on XRP. It's just payment tokens.
That doesn't change what I'm saying. You have to manage what you're doing on XRP. Has nothing to do with if XRP does its job. Ethereum does its job every time that you send a transaction. That's not a problem. XRP does too. The problem is that you have with Gala is when you ask for an NFT, when you want to buy an NFT, and then something gets stuck. You have a stuck transaction, or somehow it didn't go through. It kind of almost did, but whatever. Yeah, that would happen with another blockchain too. In fact, it happened differently. So then you're going to have your XRP people, and you're going to have your Ethereum people. What you're talking about is just scope creep. I get what you're saying, and all I hear is how hard would it be without knowing how hard it would be.
No, it's not. They have nothing to do with with each other. They don't have to create anything on XRP. They just have to accept it as payment, and they have to pay it out as a reward. It's that simple.
I get what you're saying, and there's a reason for what they're doing, and I don't have enough introspection in on that. So, boy, yes, I agree. I totally agree. It would be nice. I would love it. But my experience in this world is if somebody's not doing something that's profoundly easy, it's not profoundly easy. There might be a contract or an agreement or something getting in that way. What if they were working with other blockchain games and they only wanted to work with Ethereum? Now you have a contract preventing you from using XRP.
Yeah, okay, I can see that as a point.
So I think we need to get to these people's comments here because I've been ignoring every single one of them, and people have probably had important things to say.
Well, they have. I've been keeping up with it when you go on your comments.
My rants.
So
you could say it.
No, they're not. They're not. We both always have a lot to say because we both throw a bunch of crap at each other, and it turns out that the conversations just get longer every time.
They never get shorter. Every time you come up with something, it exponentiates the number of possible permutations there.
So, what do you hope while you're scrolling through there? Let me ask you a question. You can talk while you scroll through.
See people arguing
and catch up. Right. So, you were a Gala fanboy. There's no doubt about it, right?
Thank you for labeling me. I'm also a Star Citizen fanboy. Don't you forget it. And they're a Web 2 application.
Yeah. So, where do you see the Gala ecosystem? What is the most positive thing that you see about the Gala ecosystem right now?
Well, I don't really hide that. I think that the most positive thing that they do is that they invest like I do. They have a number of different game properties or partners that they're going with, to where if one doesn't succeed, another one will. So I like how they spread out their investments. I would say it's a positive thing that it's going to take them a while to get all this stuff done. I see them building a fucking empire, actually, with the music and the films and the games, and somebody at one point Benefactor teased theme parks, which is a little weird. But I mean, it seems like they have a huge war chest. They want to go in a bunch of different directions. I see each of these directions reinforcing the others. The movies and the music can reinforce the games, and the games can reinforce the music. Why? Because that's intellectual property. You have music in games. Why not use the music in cartoons also? You have movies. If you have a Vox movie, people can fall in love with the Vox characters, and it would introduce more people to. After a while, they'd be like, "What's this Vox game about?" If every other part of their business is advertisement for another part of their business, it's wow. It works really well, but it's all starting out. So, there's risk. Who knows? If it's successful, wow, it could get really big. If not, then I'll just be like, wow, they had a good opportunity. Too bad it sucked.
All right. And besides communication, which people I think are sick of hearing from you, because we all know it's true. Tell me the worst thing that Gala is doing right now.
okay, since I can't say that word, they have a very arbitrary way of doing things. At the same time that they want to include other people, include their fans in on what they're doing, they simply go and do it and have this deal with it attitude. To be honest, I would have a very similar attitude if I was developing the game. So I can't say that I would do different. The problem is that really sucks. I personally, I might have a deal with it attitude, but honestly, I'd probably pay people to say nice things to people. People start complaining, I'd be like, hey, let's educate them on how long it takes to build a game. I don't see that with Gala Games. I'd like to see more education. I do hear from people here and there that they're going to make that a priority. I get a sense that really Eric's whole plan was to get the engine running and then to tune it after it's running. So it's running really rough right now. Things are getting done, but people don't like the way that they're getting done. And now that it's running, it can start supporting itself. That's how entrepreneurs work. But it's a really bumpy ride right now. So that's the worst part about it. It's really bumpy.
So they just had this Galaverse in Malta, and from what I'm reading, in Gala's server and of course on CFA, where people can talk a lot looser than they can over there, I'm finding that a lot of the comments were about it was a giant sales presentation instead of a celebration. And to add into that, if you noticed, a lot of the mega whales and other fairly large guildish token holders decided not to attend this one. Why do you think that is?
Well, two things. One is about my comments about what Galaverse is. I think Galaverse is advertising to whales. They're obviously not advertising to individuals that have one NFT playing the game. People just can't afford that. Personally, I don't like that whole sales heavy advertisement kind of thing. But then again, I don't go to lots of public gatherings. I don't go to trade shows and stuff like that. Trade shows do the same thing. I think they're trying to get a certain amount of respectability by doing that. But obviously, they're advertising to people with money. Why did all the whales not go? Well, probably because it was another country and a lot of whales are in the United States. Traveling, let's see, I heard one complaint about traveling to Malta meant that there's some pretty heavy vaccine restrictions. It's been my observation that a lot of people in crypto don't like those kind of restrictions. The whole point of crypto is for you to be free to do whatever you want. And if all of a sudden, you're hosting it, I don't know why they picked Malta. That's kind of weird. I think they should have picked like England or Europe or something. But, well, isn't Malta Europe? So, I don't know. I've heard a number of complaints, but it might just be timing, the market going down. I know a couple whales who didn't go, but they sent people that they knew there. So, I don't know. Could be a number of things. I was trying not to sound too positive there. I mean, being a Gala fanboy and all.
No, and again, you look at it from a different perspective than me, or I think a lot of the people on the platform in general. We look at it from an outside looking in. You look at it from an inside looking out because you've had so much experience on that dev side and what goes into it, and you've been into gaming so deeply for so long that you understand this process more than everybody else. I mean, we just come here with our MetaMask full of ETH, and we go, hey, what can we buy to make some money and have some fun at the same time? You look
Peons.
at it
You all are
as
peons.
so yeah. I mean, it's about the perspective, and perspective is huge. And with Gala, and this is my point. I was taking you down this funnel here. My point being is the perspective is where I think the big problem is with Gala Games. Gala Games is taking the inside out approach that you do. And everybody else on this platform is taking the outside looking in portion. And if they want to be successful, they're going to have to at least understand the perspective of the outside looking in. And the attitude that you'd mentioned in that comment when I asked you about the negatives, and you said, you know, that there is some take it or leave it kind of things. People aren't gonna stick around with that, and
You'd be surprised.
no, there's people that still stick
You just
around.
said
I
people
think
are there for the money. They'll be there for the money.
they are. But there's no proof that money exists yet. We had our run with Townstar, that's over. They've put off the earning mechanism on Spider Tanks and Fortified until Gala Chain comes out, which could be 2023 for all we know at this point. And there's no other objective from an earn standpoint coming up in the near future. It's just buy more NFTs, buy more of this, buy more of that, with promises of earnings down the road. But at the same time, they're talking about earnings on this side of their mouth, and on the other side of their mouth, they're saying, no, it's not about the earning, it's about the gameplay, and it's about fun. So which is it? They're trying to play both sides, and that's the inside looking out perspective that I'm talking about.
Well,
they're saying whatever they have to say to get people to spend money, instead of creating an experience where people want to spend their money.
So I saw this with Star Citizen. Star Citizen makes their money by making ships and selling ships. These ships cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're not cheap. You can buy some for cheap, but they have some that are worth thousands of dollars. And the number one complaint is, why are you making such really fucking expensive ships? I'd want to play the game and not have to do that. They'd always retort, well, you can actually earn these things in game. They just won't stay around a lot longer. If you haven't heard that already, you will hear Gala go more that direction. I forgot the second part of your question. What was the second part?
So with that perspective, and knowing that perspective, with them talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Okay. So the second part then is, there's reality. They're working in an unregulated space. That means the rules not only change, but interpretations of the people in charge change on a daily basis. It's very obvious, if they haven't said it out loud many times, that they're trying to figure out the rules and work a very safe way within the rules. The problem is, I think, when they don't admit that, okay, maybe we've changed the way that we've acted. And I mean, they seem to be fine about admitting other things, but they want to say, because of legal reasons, it's never been about the money. Well, if you go back and look, they really haven't been about the money. However, they have slipped and talked about about the things like, well, yeah, you kind of will make money. I know at first they were, something I'm butthurt about is they wanted to reward liquidity providers at first. If you were an LP on Uniswap, they would make you an NFT for it. Well, I was a liquidity provider. Then I lost my butt on in January 2021 because Gala went up in price, and basically all my Gala got bought out, and all I was left with ETH. Okay. And then they said, well, we'll do an NFT for you guys that took a hit for us and stuff like that. Then they haven't. I actually think that was a political decision, not that they weren't thankful, But like, oh, if we start doing that, then we're encouraging people to make money or whatever, and that's going to look bad. And I bet that's around the time that Jesse came on, so he probably told them that was a bad idea. But as they get go, this happens with every little band that goes mainstream. We loved you when you were the cool, rough, hard drinking, hard smoking rock band, and then you went mainstream and you got all boring and you had to follow all the rules. That's exactly what's happening. They were riding it rough and they're flying by the seat of their pants, and now they're not. Now they're figuring out what's the best thing to do and what's the wise thing to do, and they're staying away from the stuff that they can get them shut down. I do have a problem with the fact that they're like, oh no, it was never about the money. But they do have a point. They never, I don't recall them publishing anything about how you could make a lot of money doing this. And in fact, the few times that has happened, they've quickly yanked it down. Like, look, people here do not understand that their private lives and our public, and what we do for a living are actually separate.
So how would you, like, if and we've talked about this privately offline before, and I want to see if it's changed since the last time that we talked about it. What is, if you could be CEO for 3 months at Gala, if you could take over Eric's job at Gala Games, and you could do anything you wanted for 3 months, what would you do for that 3 months?
Actually, I would want Eric to continue making deals with other companies. So okay, if I had his job, I'd have him do that. I would want to focus the company on customer service and education personally, because you do have people that want to feel better. The only problem with that is no matter how nice you are, people will be dicks. So I think the education part, I would personally like to see a lot of instruction manuals on how to play these games. I'd like to see tips and tricks and YouTube videos where people are showing you different things about the games. For a very short time, Town Star Crush, I think there's like 2 or 3 YouTube episodes, were talking about how they were developing the game. I would. This is what Star Citizen did. They have ongoing shows that crack open the game. They show you what they're working on. They're like, look, we're making a new Town Star character. You're going to see this soon. All you know is he's going to be like a chef, and then they go into how they make that character, and then they release that video at a certain time. That's how you get people really in love with the product. And I think they're so worried about building all these various products that they're leaving that part out. That's the biggest complaint that people have right now. But I guarantee that as soon as I did that and covered that area, that people are going to be bitching up a storm about why aren't you making Gala worth more? And I'd say, sorry, dude, it's against the law. I mean, they're saying it was never about the games. I would say it's against the law. We can't do that. And they go, why would I want to stay here if you're going to do that? And I'd say, don't. Just like Benefactor does. People ask this about the nodes. They said, why would I want to buy a node if I'm not going to make any money on it? And he says, don't buy a node then. And they're like, what? What? Huh? What? And then, of course, they figure out on their own, okay, maybe I'll make some money on it. But Eric's is being honest. He can't tell you to do that. So I would be honest in the same way, but I'd focus on customer service, and I'd say it in a nice way. There you go. I tell you you're full of shit, but nicely. How's that?
So would you want to offer the same things that they're offering now, or would you put a deeper focus on games? Because to me, with you being a gamer as deeply as you are, I would think that you would go into the Town Star people and say, you need to make this epic and it needs to be done tomorrow. You need to make people want to play the game, not just for the money, but want to play the game. And take that, like for instance, right, you love your Echoes of Empire, you're an Echoes of Empire guy. that looks pretty good. You showed me that video earlier. It looks like a pretty good in-depth game. Is it really? Or is it just because it's a space game and you love space games?
Okay, wait. You got a big sandwich there of stuff that you asked. The first part is you're kind of running up into my running against the limit of my expertise. I've never been the CEO of a
No.
large company. I'm not going to be able to guarantee a lot of stuff. Just like you, I would want to make bets in certain areas. The second part is, again with the first part, I'm going to give Eric Shiremeyer his due. He's done this before, and he's doing this now, and he does stuff that honestly I would not be good at. So if I were running the company, the whole company would be doing things differently. It would scare the shit out of me to have a whole separate Gala music and Gala films, but I can see what he's doing, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a shrewd play. Look at that. He's having everything cover each other's ass. That's awesome. I'm not sure I could manage all that, but whatever the case, getting to Echoes of Empire, which seemed like a separate thing. Echoes of Empire is a space game. I get interested in space games. I heard that it was a 4X game, and the very little that they talked about it and the screenshots they had made me come to the conclusion that it was going to be like a space chess game, which I thought would be really cool, that you'd be buying the pieces for, and then you'd be mining stuff for it. So they gave the very basics of the game. That, again, is what venture capitalists are giving when they've been asked to invest in something. They get told the very minimum, and I've been on the other side of that, on the gaming side, not the gaming side, the development side. They tell the venture capitalists as little as possible so that they can have as much wiggle room as possible when shit goes wrong. So yes, I do like space games. You could even say that I'm predisposed to like the game because I have money in it. But I'm also predisposed to let them know how I feel. If you're going to put money into something, then you're going to get on the forums and tell them how you want things. By the way, there could be possibly a interview with the EOE people, maybe. I'll just throw that out on Faz Radio, and I'm going to say nothing more about it. Go ahead.
So, the way that I look at from the outside looking in perspective, I'm excited about Fortified because I played this game on. I used to be addicted to this place called Candy Stand, and it was a platform years ago. They closed it down. I don't know if it got bought out or what, but they closed it down. It was called Vector TD, and it was this tower defense thing. I put thousands of hours into that. I just thought I loved it. And it took me like almost 2 years to finally beat the damn thing. And then they came out with Vector TD2, which was an enhanced version, and I never did beat that one. But it was challenging. So I'm not like a hardcore gamer like you are with, my kids, get me to play.
I like how
Xbox,
you call me a hardcore gamer, while at the same time telling me that I'm just know it from the dev side, and I don't know what it's like from the gamer side. I'm glad that you mention those when they're appropriate. You're the gamer unless I'm not.
No. You present your arguments from the inside looking out perspective, but you still are a hardcore gamer. You just don't look at these games from that player perspective. You look at it from the business perspective and the dev perspective, and that's the difference that I keep trying to point out.
I look at it from the business perspective because the business perspective is reality. You can want anything you want, and you can throw a shit fit all you want, but it's not going to happen. That's why people bitch so much about Electronic Arts. They have a certain model that works for them. Every company is going to do what makes them money. And people will be like, I can't stand this company because they do this and they screw us here and they screw us that. How are they even making money? Because they are. I mean, it's that simple. So
Okay, so all right, so let's define this further. Let's give a real world example here. And I'd love to see how you react to this. Let's say you go out, you love your Echoes of Empire, it's a space chess game kind of thing, and you love that genre. And you go out and you spend $30, $40, $50,000 on NFTs, right? And you play the game and you're enjoying the hell out of it, but you're making $28 a day in rewards. How does that make you feel? Would you still play it?
It would make me feel the same way as if I would have spent that same money on crypto or stocks and those cryptos fell. I feel like an idiot. Of course I would.
No, I mean, would you still play the game? Would you still enjoy the game knowing that you're like underwater by $30, $40, $50,000? Would you still enjoy it? Or would that put a bad taste in your mouth and you'd be like, fuck it, I'm not playing this anymore?
You know, this is funny. When I first got introduced to Windows, by the way, Titan here, when I was in the Navy, introduced me to solitaire on Windows with Windows 3.1 or 3.0 at the time. And so he taught me solitaire on Windows. Just a little bit of trivia. And the first thing I thought was, this game is stupid. Why would anybody want to play this game? And he had actually told me at the time, well, solitaire was actually designed to teach people how to use the mouse. And so that's why you have to move the cards around with the mouse all the time. And then there's a Minesweeper was to teach you how to right click with the mouse. Anyway, solitaire is a really fucking popular game. Over the years, everybody's played it. Millions upon millions, probably billions of people played that game. Why? Was it really because people wanted to play a card game? Come on. Was it really because people really like solitaire? No. It's because it was in the right place at the right time. It was Windows needed a game. They picked a game, and whatever game they picked rode on their coattails. So that's what's, a lot of people played solitaire, even though they would have rather played some other game. You make it sound like people can just go elsewhere to another game. No, they can't. Townstar is easy to play because it's on your browser. You could play it on your phone. You could play it on your computer. You probably want to play it on your computer. No, you're not going to go play Fortnite instead of playing Townstar on your phone because you're not going to play Fortnite. You might not have a gaming machine that can run that game. You might find some other game like Candy Crush that's more fun. But if Townstar gives you 5 cents more, you might do that. I mean, remember, people are cutting coupons at grocery stores for 5 cents off of a fucking tube of chapstick, and you're like, why would people ever play Townstar? Because they're the same people that cut coupons. The very existence of coupons at grocery stores should explain to you that play to earn is going to work. Now, me, I don't really cut coupons. I don't care, but I'm fooled by the whole play to earn mechanic. So I'm in that hook, line, and sinker. But my wife, she's all about the coupons. So, I mean, pick your poison.
But you didn't answer my question.
Well, I never
would
do.
You still,
What's the question?
Would you still play EOE and have fun with it, even if you knew you would never make that anywhere close to that $30, $40, or $50,000 back?
If I like the game, why not? I might not keep my money in it. I might sell all the NFTs, or I might keep the one that I wanted. So I could say possibly, if I like the game, if it was a cool game. There's other games that I played. Long ago, I had a Commodore 64 where they had a bunch of stupid-ass games today, but now in the Atari 2600 the same way. But I actually rather enjoy going back and playing some of those games. It turns out that with the Atari 2600, in my opinion, Space Invaders is the best game that they had. Even though some games were a lot better, it had the best of everything. So if EOE has that, if it's easy to play and it's easy to load on my computer and so on, why wouldn't I? Now it's just, once you get older, you have less time. So probably, and I'd probably,
okay.
to meet what you're saying, I'd probably keep just the NFTs I needed for what I wanted. I'm efficient.
So do you buy NFTs for their utility first or for the return first?
Different NFTs for different reasons. I bought the Mirandus NFTs because I wanted to get in early on that game. They were selling land, and I know that when you have land in these games, you get a really good position and you can make a lot of money. I wanted a game that I could enjoy and would play and would make a lot of money. With other games that have come out after that, because Gala Games started coming out with NFTs for other games, I'm like, you know what? If I'm doing this on Mirandus, I could do this over here. And so I bought some here and there for investment purposes. But I did it for the games that I knew that I'd enjoy playing, like Superior. I bought an Epic Ronin. I loved that game. And I'm getting drops because I had that Epic Ronin. I got some Epic something or other dropped to me. So it's, yes, I like to play games, and so that makes it all the better. I'm more likely to buy an NFT for a game that I like than one that I don't. Like that Walking Dead game, no desire to play that whatsoever. Hey, it could make a lot of money, but I put my money in things that I wanted to play. So I've always thought with the games like Townstar and stuff like that, at the very least, I can play it. I know that you can rent stuff out and so on, but I haven't bought a bunch of investment NFTs in games like The Walking Dead. There's another, they issued a couple new ones, like the Battlestar Galactica. I don't care. Grit, I don't care. I don't want to play those games. I played games like that before. I have the previous Battlestar Galactica game. It'll probably be the same.
So, we got called out a little bit, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe you remember. That was, and we've gotten called out on this a couple of times, and we never really.
My excuse is that we're two idiots with a microphone.
And
we just don't have a show.
They want to know.
We just don't have a show with puppets making crank phone calls before we come on.
They always want to know a little bit more about us, and we got called out about how we'd known each other for 30 years and where that goes to, where
nice
we come from
there.
and all that stuff. Well, okay, so we've been going on for damn near an hour now. And I figure we might want to squeak this in and take a break from the game stuff for a few minutes before we get to some more questions. I know Heather's been telling us about the game she likes to play. But Faz and I go back 30 years, as we've talked about, and we bust each other's chops. And I was kind of an asshole to him when we met. We were in the military together. We were in the Navy. And of all things, we were in the same field that we're in now. We were cryptologists. And it started a very unique, very different, because we're such opposite people, a very interesting friendship that has lasted through the years. Faz loves to tell the stories about how I was such an asshole to him.
Let me tell one. So, when I first met him, I hadn't met him for a couple days when I got to my first duty station, and I was told that there's this very colorful person that worked there that everybody had something to say about. The nicest thing that people said about him was that he was a little Napoleon. That's because he was like the leading ranking E3 at the time, and I was an E1.
Yeah.
And gave a lot of people a hard time, all the people under you a hard time, the few people that were under you a hard time, and I was one of the few. And so I was warned about him. And actually, it's kind of funny. So I did not get along with him at first because he was a little Napoleon, and I think he was just trying really hard to do his job. I see Titan trying. I see him, everything he does, he puts 100% into. So he probably did that there and thought that was the right way to do it. But I know at a certain point, I think either you were told to to spend time with me or something, but we wound up like going out to clubs or something. And I don't think it was your idea. I think it was somebody else's idea that like told us to hang out so that we'd stop fighting. And then you started taking me to all sorts of weird ass techno clubs.
Yeah, yeah. We see back then I was kind of a bully. Um, in my group of friends growing up, I was the smallest guy. I did sports and I was very, very good at it, but I ended up, my closest friends here at home were wrestlers and football players. So I either had to learn how to wrestle and play football or I got my ass kicked every day. And then
This
I went into the
explains a lot.
military. And yeah, I went into the military and I got a little bit of power given to me and I exploited it to the maximum, of course. Because I didn't know how to lead back then. I was an 18-year-old kid. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just would point at shit and tell people to do it and they would go do it. And I'm like, yeah, this is really fucking cool. But unfortunately, well, fortunately, unfortunately, with Faz, every time I was trying to be an asshole to him and make him do stupid shit, I ended up having to drive him to the hospital.
All right, now.
And I'm sorry to laugh because it's just you remember this stuff, and I would try and pick on the poor guy. And have him do stuff, and it turned out bad every single time. And I think that probably ended up bringing us closer together than anything else. Is the time spent in the car going to the hospital. But eventually, we found that once I calmed down and he realized that. I was only being an asshole because I didn't know any better, I think. We developed this friendship that has just lasted forever, and it's fantastic. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's good when you can be honest with somebody and then they still like you. You know, there's a phrase out there that there's a saying out there. You could be honest with people you know, or you could have friends.
Yeah, I mean it has been a heck of a journey, and I wouldn't do it any differently, other than maybe not be such an asshole back then. But
I pay him back now, though.
yeah, see, and he used to say that. I used to tell him what to do 30 years ago, and now he tells me what to do, and it's totally true. But we care deeply about each other and we don't agree on a lot of things. We're polar opposites in pretty much everything. He's an introvert, I'm an extrovert. He leans more left, I lean more right. We have passions about things that we share. And the advice we give each other ends up being fantastic advice that turns us into better people. I would not be here in the place that I am now if it wasn't for Faz. Back in 2006, he's always insistent, right? So we'll get on the phone or whatever, and he'll be like, "Dude, you gotta watch this. You gotta learn about this. You gotta do this." And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, I'm serious. You gotta do this. And I do it, and I'm better off because of it. And he's taught me so much over the years, which leads me to discover things, and then I share that back to him with things that maybe he's a little bit, not up to speed on, and I can fill those gaps for him. We fill each other's gaps really well, and that's a bad way to phrase it.
TMI, dude.
But we really do. I mean, I'm good on the financial side. He's not real good on the financial side. He's really good with the coding and computer stuff, and I have a lot of gaps there. So we complement each other fantastically in that stuff. So we enjoy talking about things like crypto. And when he got me involved, I did it hesitantly at first, just because I trust the guy completely, and he's insistent. He knew that this would be something that I would love, or at least grow to love. And sure enough, here we are, 2 years later, and we've built some great things. We're continuing to build some great things. We have other plans in the works to take things to way different levels.
I'm not paying him for saying all these nice things, by the way.
No,
You notice I haven't said a damn nice thing about him.
Once in a while, I'm nice to you. I can still be an asshole at times, but it is what it is, and we both do have the passion to educate others in this space and help people understand something so revolutionary like this space, the digital assets. It's amazing.
Let's jump back to P2E before we get out of here. I want to really get this across, because I how did I title this? Something about people freaking out about Gala Games P2E. And Johnny T on CryptoFaz Academy posted this really good thread in our Twitter things seen on Twitter channel. And this guy was tearing P2E a new one. And he had a lot of good points. He is explaining in depth how these economies really weren't that sustainable, and how they're really in effect kind of a big Ponzi. And you always need more people to reinforce the people behind you and stuff like that. I agreed with that 100%. Unfortunately, I also disagree with it 100%. And so I responded a lot to these tweets. And I think I had a lot of good points. In fact, I think Johnny T even saw my points. But he said, well, Faz, it looks like you're looking out 5 to 10 years, and these people are looking out right now. And I think that's a big deal. If you're looking right now for P2E to work, you're going to have a problem. When I got into buying NFTs from Mirandus and stuff like that, there was no game. There still is no game. So I couldn't be looking for P2E to work at that time. And so now I see people getting in it for the first time going, how come P2E isn't working? And it's like, it just started, dude. Like, Gala just started doing it like 6 months ago. They're still figuring it out. This is not like, I don't know, maybe people expect like a cool game to be a blockbuster and then everybody loves it and the world falls in love with it like they did Axie. But that doesn't happen all the time. Pac-Man had the same thing. There are other games that take a while to figure out. And they take a lot of planning, they take a lot of iterations. And that's what I see going on with Townstar and the other games. And the entire P2E space. People are going to get burned. I think honestly that the whole P2E had its play to earn, had its what do you call it? Mount Gox moment. Where Axie completely failed, and then everybody started losing confidence in P2E. It would have been fine if Axie had not failed, but, things would have been a lot better also if the market would have continued going up, because then you would have still had that whole Ponzi thing going on. But now, when the markets go down, that's when the real chips start falling. When the market goes down, it starts showing you whether your business plan was actually workable or not. What's nice about Gala Games is they're in a good position to be able to adapt with their new games. They only have one beta game out using play to earn, and they can retool and adjust. Axie, I think they have to burn it down and start over. I think they came out with another version that's not P2E at all, and they're hoping to just move people to that, because I think they're worried about getting in trouble with the law. So it's going to take years for this stuff to figure itself out. If you're not willing to wait years, don't get involved. I'm saying this as nicely as possible. If you have the money to burn, sure, but buy it and forget about it, like you would do any other crypto. If you're looking to day trade, don't do NFT. Well, you could do NFTs, just don't try to play the games. I mean, if you want to day trade, then go on OpenSea and trade every day. There's stuff going down every day. Personally, I think there's just when the market comes back, the ones that have survived through the downturn will come back too. And honestly, it will be because there will be a Ponzi element associated with it. If the token starts going up in price, then they'll get more interested. And then, of course, that's when you'll see much more game mechanics coming out because they're going to try to get your attention as much as possible. It's going to be cyclical. That's how I see it.
That's really powerful.
Not saying Ponzi's are good. They suck. But the U.S. dollar itself is a Ponzi scheme if you really want to...
Everything is. The stock market, fiat money.
Okay, so there's
crypto,
a Ponzi...
everything is.
So it's the pot calling the kettle black. It's like, oh my God, you're such a Ponzi scheme.
I mean, even companies. The company you work for is a Ponzi scheme. Okay, the people who created it put people in power, the owners, the people who are close to the owners, and they have to bring in other people in order to make them money. And the people at the top of the pyramid make all the money.
If you were to buy shoes
from a shoe company, the guy slugging at the bottom.
If you were to buy shoes from a shoe company, they'd have to keep selling shoes to pay for all their future plans. They put themselves in a Ponzi situation. It's hard to even think of capitalism not being a form of Ponzi. By the way, I can argue the other part. When somebody calls Gala Games a Ponzi or something, I say, well, actually, Ponzi schemes have a very specific definition, and you go into how the thing is incomplete and how you're drumming up people and inventing money and stuff like that. I don't think that play to earn, as it currently exists, is a Ponzi. I think it's benefiting from Ponzi aspects because it's not very mature. And it's going to take it a while to mature.
They have to have 1 million players DAU in order for it to work, and that's a Ponzi. You have to build the pyramid.
Increase. It's not just they have to have a million people just static isn't going to work. You have to increase your people for right now for play to earn.
Which is how a Ponzi works.
Well, either increase the people or increase the price of the token that you're doing. That's why everybody's demanding, like, what are you doing to make Gala go up? Well, they just happen to be benefiting while it was. But no, what I was saying was the early stuff is going to benefit from those Ponzi aspects because the stuff is not very mature. Now they got to retool, and the whole it's going to be boring for a while. Get out if you're scared now. I could if the market keeps going down, it's just all going to crater. But in my opinion, it's going to come back. I'm not actually selling Townstar and Gala NFTs. I'm buying more. Because people
I was answering a comment there. Yeah, so not to rehash too terribly much. But we've had there's been Smithers, as you mentioned, that is divesting his Townstar assets.
Yep, bought some from him.
And there's a couple more that are doing the same.
I don't know who those people are. I'd like to know.
Yeah, if you I'm not gonna mention names, but if you go to look at the Gala server and some of the channels that they allow sales to happen, you'll see some rather interesting names of people who are liquidating things.
I told Titan that if things get really bad, then I'll own all the ancients.
Yeah. So this is something, and I mentioned this in passing on a Faz radio a few months ago. You have to watch that kind of thing, and when you see the people who have a lot of assets starting to divest those assets, you need to take note of that. And when you see people on the other side of the coin, when you see people acquiring assets, so you can follow this on OpenSea, you can see sales and purchases, right? If you scroll down at the bottom, you can see the history of who's buying what. And if you're smart like we do here, we log a lot of those people who are buying and selling. And you take note of that and you name them. You can name them on Etherscan so you can follow their wallets. And you know who's buying what and selling what. That should give you a good indication of maybe where you want to be looking for good opportunities. And if you're going to do the day trading thing with NFTs, watch what people are buying and selling and see what's moving. That will help you tremendously. Not to say that that's a guarantee that you're going to make money. Okay, I don't want to throw out something and
I
people
think you're
go get
trying to
wrecked.
say watch what people do, not what they say, and
Yeah,
watch what whales do.
watch.
Uh,
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
what a lot of whales do is they know how to make money, and usually the best way to make money is buy low, sell high. So the whales right now are snapping up all the stuff that they feel is important. If you think that whale can make a lot of money, or you've seen them make a lot of money, then that might mean something. If you think that person's an idiot, but they have a lot of money and that there's a whale, maybe you should rethink of what an idiot would be. But I mean, watch what they do and what they put their money in. A number of years ago, I was really against Bitcoin and mining in general because I didn't like the environmental aspects. I've kind of changed my opinion on the environmental aspects because it's actually not going to be worth it to waste energy doing crypto. It's actually going to be better if it's going to encourage the solar industry, alternate fuels and stuff. But whatever the case is, it became obvious to me in about 2019 that Bitcoin was going to work because people will fucking make it work. Bitcoin is too slow. It has issues. It's vulnerable to 51% attacks and stuff like that. People are going to make it work, just like they made VHS work. There's too many big people in Bitcoin. And so when Bitcoin's going down right now and everybody's screaming like their ass is on fire, look who's actually buying more. It's the whales that are buying a whole lot more Bitcoin. Well, they also do it with the other things too. So your favorite coin, whatever it is, if you know who the whales are, look at their wallets and see what they're doing. If you see them accumulating, see what they're accumulating and why, and be like, okay, maybe they know something. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say that they're any smarter, but it is worth mentioning that whales can afford to lose a whole lot more money than you. so they're likely to spend a whole lot of to blow their money on a lot of things. They can also declare it as a loss in their taxes. So there's innumerable things that they can do that you can't do. So I wouldn't take them as doing things the right way. But if there's no market, the whales won't be in it. They will get the hell out. They will sell at an incredible loss and get into something else. So that's what I've been doing. Anyway, it's not that, and I don't want people to think that I know what I'm doing either, because I don't.
I put out a video a while back. I'm terrible with time frames. I want to say like 2 months ago. And I want to do another one. I've mentioned it before about being able to track wallets and watch wallets and stuff like that.
Getting Ensign.
The beauty of well, that's too expensive. Are you kidding me? I can't afford that. But I know the poor man's way to do that, and I do that on a regular basis. And there's ways that you can do that. So to kind of tie back to what we were talking about, maybe I'll put another emphasis. We're busy building, and we just did a Faz radio on building a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I want to say.
I'm building
I've been
my bugs and other things.
Yeah, I've been building a lot myself. One of which is my wife is a ghost hunter. And I built her and her ghost hunting team a website. So my focus has been kind of outside of all this, since crypto isn't really doing anything. We're poking it with a stick. But I will put out another video. And I want to talk about, I'm going to do a basic how to find out whose wallets are doing what, maybe, with Etherscan, and how to poke around, how to name things, how to follow it, how to get alerts. that'll tell you a lot, because if you kind of just even do it as a hobby, you can pick up on the Gala wallets, you can pick up on the wallets of the green names and the red names over at Gala Games to see what they're doing. And that kind of gives you an indication of what might be coming up and what you might want to put into your considerations when you go to purchase something, or whether you want to lean towards one game over another. It gives you a lot of insight. So I will. I'm not going to commit to a specific time frame. I sound a lot like Gala Thune, but I will put together something, because I know I've talked about it before.
All right. And on that note, I think we better wrap this one up. This one's getting a bit long, and
That's what she said.
yeah. Let's. So thank you guys very much for listening in. We really appreciate you, and let's do this again next week.
Yeah, we can do that. I look forward to it every Friday.
Now I just need to find OBS here to turn it off. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get out.